All right, guys, what's going on? Welcome to another review of Mayans MC, Season 5, the last season, Episode 4. I just finished watching it not too long ago, about an hour ago. And my feelings, just to let you guys know, too, we didn't do a podcast this week for the last episode, Episode 3, because I had to cancel it because of my son's graduation, went to dinner, other things, other things that got involved. Next week, it's just going to be me doing a podcast. Sandra has a business trip. So when she gets back, then we'll do a podcast on episode 6. But a podcast next week, just me holding it down. So let's get into this episode, though. I'm doing a review on this particular episode. And my feelings, I think if you guys saw my review on the last episode, and you heard my thoughts, I did not like that episode. I thought it was actually kind of garbage. And me thinking it over, it's a really bad episode. It's not a very good episode. The only good thing about that last episode was the ending of that episode. Now, if you haven't seen that episode and we're going into this, it's not yet necessarily a spoiler, but I'm not going to get into full detail because I will be doing a podcast for this episode. So Hank finds out there's a rat within the group, and we all kind of wondered, and I don't know, it was like right in front of my face after thinking about it. We thought maybe it was Jess, maybe it was Hank himself, but it turns out, I mean, non-spoiler, but come on, we know what was happening. A certain somebody in this group is the rat. It's like kind of playing in front of your face. Things from the past, like season 1, comes haunting right back to this season, to this episode, which I honestly forgot about the whole storyline. Honestly, there's a lot of storylines that have been reintroduced in here. Not necessarily storylines, but a lot of things that were left in the wayside that seems to become circling around, especially with Hank. There's a special somebody that comes out of nowhere. It seems like past is catching up to the present. I didn't care for this episode, man. Honestly, this season is starting to become kind of whack to me. It still baffles me on the writing of this series. It's still not very coherent. It's not stringed together very well. The editing, I'm not talking about kind of editing. I'm talking about like overall just storylines, man. And there is a couple things in this episode that I liked that was set up in the previous episodes that are coming back, but you don't get in the back of your mind. There's so many things that like, oh yeah, that's right, that happened last season, or oh, isn't there supposed to be a war with the Suns and Mayans? Like, what's going on there? It's still, once again, bloated where you're focused on certain storylines, but yet you're kind of in the back of your mind, you already know last episode had these other storylines going on. So it just baffles me how very bad Elgin James and the crew has still been juggling a lot of things that they've presented. There's a lot of stupidity in this episode once again. There's a lot of dumb decisions. There's a lot of writing mistakes in here. Not mistakes, but writing amateur shit in here. I mean, there's people that pop in that doesn't make any sense. There's situations that happen that are done idiotically, or just happens to just have these characters do this thing so we can have instant drama. Now, I'm not saying, this is not the only show that does this. I mean, there's a lot of shows that do that. Even Sons of Anarchy has done this before. I'm just baffled. This episode has kind of frustrated me, and this season is already frustrating me, which sucks because, I want them to go in a high note. But once again, Easy has become such an idiot. From season 1 to now, he is not a very good leader at all. He is destroying this club. And I guess that's juicy drama, but I would like a little bit of, the good and the bad. So yes, you could still have this club being dysfunctional and going down the route it's going, but you also want to see the club kind of succeed a little bit, or at least Easy take over. There is a reason why we've been following him all these seasons, and I've not seen any of that leadership or any of those smarts in at all this season. It's kind of baffling to me. There's one particular scene involving Emily where I was gonna laugh my ass off if she goes out through that exit door and Easy totally forgets the promise that he made her. I'll leave it at that. But Emily in here continues to be just a waste of time. I get the dynamic between her and Galindo. I think Galindo's storyline is actually the most interesting, and I think it's going to become the more interesting after this episode. I think his also him kind of butting heads with El Barrera or Boquero's sister, which I forgot her name already. I think that's becoming interesting. The whole, I kind of like the Kate situation that she's unfolding who the rat is in this club, and she's digging more into like who is that particular person. But I don't still like how it's all coming to be, because the relationship between her and Creeper still doesn't feel genuine and doesn't feel like, why is she doing this so much for Creeper? It just still doesn't really make too much sense. But I do kind of like that aspect of it. The guns, I did like a little bit of things of how they Easy kind of worked the guns for his kind of advantage to a lot of things, drugs, locations. Like he was really playing what he had when somebody else like the cartel didn't want him, so he's using it as his gain. The only, I guess, nitpick I have is I would have negotiated better, especially in the start of this episode when he's like meeting like the Asian guys or gang or whatever, and he's getting what he needs to build kind of this drug empire. I'm not gonna knock them for the use of drugs at all. I mean, they from the get-go, from the series, that's what it was all about, the pipeline and all that stuff. And there's cooks. Breaking Bad was not the first one to have cooks in their show, so it's just, you know what? And Bottles and the cook's relationship, I'm actually kind of digging. I kind of like it, even though it's gonna end horribly and you can see it a mile away, and Bottles is still an idiot. He's very much an idiot, but it kind of is a little, that's kind of the heart of what's going on these last couple of episodes, and you just see what's going to happen a mile away. But I do like the general friendship they seem to be bonding, amigos. So I do like that. There is the conversation in this episode with Adelita and Angel that I actually really did enjoy too. Adelita is barely in this episode, but what she does get is intriguing, interesting. Angel and Easy's situation now after this episode is intriguing as well. So there's little things here and there, and yes, the episode was directed by J.D. Pardo, and it still looks good. The show still looks great, but it's not necessarily, that's not what the problem I have with it. It's just the writing is just bonkers. It's very, very bad. Excuse me. The one thing I really did enjoy too was, what else did I really kind of enjoy? Like, it was a very frustrating episode for me, man. It was a very, very frustrating episode for me. It was me sitting down, it's like, why are you bringing this back? Why are we doing this? Why are we continuing this? You have you literally just have other more important things, and this is already episode 4, and I just don't feel like this is like necessary in the episode. There's a lot of unnecessary things that happened in this episode that is not engaging and is not really having me feeling this season at all. Sophia has something that happens in her episode, a past that comes, like I said, past comes to visit, like to Ghost of Christmas Past. I did not care. I don't care. There's something that happens in this episode with one of the Mayan brothers, which I was like, how do you not know that, this is Easy's world? You know exactly what's going down here. You had his back last season, and now I could see it triggered a lot of things that she had in her past. I get that. But Sophia is another character that I don't necessarily dislike, but I don't really care for. I think Adelita is more of a character that I kind of care for, that's not getting enough screen time. But you have that whole situation. You have also Kate doing her thing, which, like I just explained why I think that works, and it kind of doesn't work. Hank, I think Hank's storyline was him caring for his mom tugs the heart, but what they did with him, I don't know if I'm pretty sure it's going to go somewhere later on. I'm pretty sure we're going to have a very tragic ending to this all. It just seems like more and more episodes that we're getting and more of what these characters are doing, especially Easy, it just seems more and more only maybe one or two people are going to live off of this crew. These guys are going to go to hell. They're at the end of the season. I don't see Santo Padre coming out of this at all. At all. I see this just going down in flames, honestly. They do have an ally or I want to say ally, but they do have, there's the Broken Saints makes another appearance. It's the all-girl biker gang. And I kind of like them. I like the leader who is in the Broken Saints or whatever they're called, the biker gang women. I actually liked it. She had probably the best lines in here. She's very, that actress is doing whatever she can with anything she's getting. And I think she's very charismatic. And I think that her and Easy's conversation was nice. I really actually do kind of digging them. That actress and just overall kind of like, I do like it. I do think their helmets are oversized for their head though. They look kind of funny riding the bikes in a particular scene. So more things are kind of turning, more things are kind of ahead for the crew and everybody else. We get a little bit of information of the war. I don't want to hear it. I want to see it. Honestly, don't tell. You need to show. This episode was, there was some things that I did like. I do like how they're kind of coming full circle with everything. It looks like they're trying to tie everything, just kind of finish that off. But there's other things that they didn't really need going forward in the season or this episode. Overall, it made me more frustrated because I thought there was going to be more stupid stuff that certain characters were going to do, but they didn't. It makes me more frustrated that you have other characters that are so in the sideline. It makes me very frustrated that they're focusing on some storylines when they have other storylines that's more important, at least. This series is very frustrating, and I'm kind of just waiting for it to end. I'm so tired of just like complaining about this series, but it is what it is, man. This is not very good TV, in my opinion. I don't think it's engaging. I don't think it deserves another season. I think that I hope for more SOA content. I would like that. I think everybody else would like that. But I think Mayans is just not doing it, man. It's not good. It's time to end this shit. But overall, it wasn't the worst episode. I've seen worst episodes of Mayans. It's just one of the most frustrating ones. But we'll see what happens next episode. I'm going to really dive into it. I'll really nitpick the shit out of it and why I think this is just not very good television next week. If you liked it, you know what? If you liked it, you liked it. Usually I go I'm real with you. I'm like, dude, why do you like this show? But at this point, we're in season 5. If you're enjoying it, you're enjoying it. I know people who actually like Game of Thrones season 8 sometimes. So if you like this, as long as you're having a good ride and you're enjoying it. For me, I'm miserable. I'm just like, oh my God. This is you just see things come a mile away and you see just the writers and them just say, let's just do this shit. Who cares? Let's not explain it. Or let's just let's just put this in for drama's sake. Let's just make this guy a dick just to be a dick. Come on, man. Come on. And who the hell is that guy? A lot of these characters who the hell is that again? There's one particular scene in Emily. I'm like, who is that? What is going on? Why'd you go that route? I would have liked to see the other outcome. Oh, man. Yeah. So, yep. Spoiler breakdown next week. It's just going to be me doing the podcast, but then Sandra will be come back for the next episode. Let me know what you guys thought. Did you enjoy it? Did you not enjoy it? It's episode 4 already. It is kind of going by fast with these episodes, so let me know. I'm Dan the Man, aka Dan the Son. Be sure to subscribe, like the video, and comment below. I gotta hear these thoughts. And until next time, till we talk more Mayans MC. I'll see you guys.